Hi, and welcome back to the Twisted Threads podcast. This is episode number 5, and I am Stacy, your host. This is a knitting and sewing and kind of general crafting podcast, and welcome. If it's your first time, thank you so much for checking me out, and I really appreciate you. If you have returned, I really appreciate you as well. Thank you so much for coming back and watching my videos more than once. If you want to follow me on any other social media, you can find me as Stacieleeeee on Ravelry and Instagram. I'll put the name down below so you can see how to spell it. And you can also find my hand-dyed yarn company on Instagram and Facebook as Twisted Threads Yarn. Also, I'll put that below so you know how to spell that. And thank you so much for joining me today. I'll just get right into it. Well, now I'm distracted because I just moved over and there's my wiener dog sitting on his perch looking outside. I won't call him over yet. I apologize if you can see the rays of light that are kind of coming down everywhere. I'm sitting next to a window and it's a little later in the afternoon than I usually record, so that's annoying. Maybe there we go. I'll just sit a little bit closer. So now you can see me closer. So we'll just get right into it now. Now I can't see the wiener dog, so I won't be distracted. I have no finished objects. Wah wah. I've been working on bigger projects, so I did not finish anything. And the sock that I was working on last week, that black alpaca lace sock that I was doing, I frogged it. So I did about half of the leg, and then my husband and I were driving somewhere, and it was dark, and I was knitting on it, and I dropped a whole bunch of stitches, and I looked at it, and I went, I'm not going to fix that in a lace. Ripped the entire thing out, so that'll be used as a different project one day. I did start another pair of socks. Let me grab them so I can show you, and this is my chicken bag. I just made this the other day. I'm so proud of it. I love it so much. It fits a pair of socks perfectly. And it's got this little pocket on the outside. But look at these chickens. So this is the sock. I am almost to the cuff. I'm probably going to do another 20 rows stockinette, and then I will do the cuff. But here she is. It's just a plain vanilla sock with a fish lips cassille. I did 64 stitches on US size zeros. That's kind of my go-to recipe. I do like the heel flap and gusset better than the fish lips cassille, but since this yarn is stripy, I didn't want to break up the stripes and make it look weird. So fish lips cassille, and it does fit decently well on a 64 stitch sock with 32 stitches across the back. It's wide enough. It doesn't pull too much, so I can't complain too much about it. But this is actually some of my hand-dyed yarn. I was attempting to do some stripes. And funny story about this, to do stripes on a skein of yarn, you have to make if it's wound up into a skein that's not a skein. If it's wound up into the round, I don't know what to call it, and it's this big, you can't dye enough sections to make it striped. So I don't have a warping table or anything like that to make my skeins of yarn longer. So I wrapped it around my bedposts, around and around and around my bedposts, and I will not be doing that anytime soon. But it kind of worked, and because my bed, it's a California king size bed, so the bedposts are farther away from each other than any other bedposts would be, unless you have one of those crazy, whatever they're called, Alaskan king beds that are gigantic. I just totally got distracted. Lost my train of thought. Oops. Uh, so the bed posts are farther away than any other bed, so it widened it quite a bit. There's a pop-up on my laptop. There we go. It's gone now. I can see again. I gotta get closer. So I widened it quite a bit. So when I dyed my sections of yarn, they still weren't quite long enough to make like the traditional like 8-row stripes or 6-row stripes or whatever they are. So got a couple rows out of each color, but I really like it. It was fun. It was a ton of work. I commend anyone who does self-striping yarn. Of course, they probably have the proper equipment, so that is also helpful. But here is the cake. Let me get the dog hair off of it. There's the cake. And it's got blue and black and purple and some teal in there. And it's really, really squishy and awesome. Speaking of awesome, this is on my Awesome Sock base. So it's Twisted Threads yarn on the Awesome Sock base. This is not a colorway that I keep in the shop. This was just kind of a tester one, and I wasn't going to sell it because there's a lot of mistakes in it. But yeah, so that's my first work in progress because I have no finished objects. Hopefully I'll finish the sock eventually, sometime this week, and get on making the second sock, and maybe I'll have a finished pair next week, maybe not. I am working on another pair of socks, which live in this bag. I made this as well the other day. I wanted some bags that just fit like pairs of socks, so that's this guy here. It's also got a pocket. And this was the first one that I made. I watched a bunch of videos and kind of cut out cardboard pattern pieces of about the size that I wanted in the shape that I wanted, and then went with it. So this, I didn't put any interfacing in this pocket lining. There's so much dog hair on it already. So it's a little floppy, but whatever. And here is my cake of yarn, and this is also some of my Twisted Threads hand-dyed yarn. This is in the Alpine colorway, and this is on a new base that I am trying out. It's a 75-25 blend, merino and nylon blend yarn, but it is beautiful. And here's the sock. So this sock I am actually test knitting for someone. Let me grab the pattern. She said it was okay to share it with you, so I will gladly. And I believe this will be a paid for pattern when it's all put up on Ravelry. But they are the Braids and Diamond Socks by Kaylyn Beattie. This is what the first page looks like here. And I'm not going to show you any of the pattern pages, but that's kind of what the pattern looks like. And I'm having so much fun with them. I love them. I do regret doing the 64 stitch count on these. They are a little big, but I'm just going to shorten the foot of the sock so there's negative ease going in this direction, so it pulls the sock tighter. But this is what I have so far, and let me see. The variegation makes it a little hard to show you, but there's eyelets in it. It is so much fun. I love it so much. I'm not having any problems with the pattern so far. It's great, and I look forward to, actually I'm already thinking about making another pair of these, but gotta get at least one pair of socks done before I do that. But yeah, so this is the sock. Like I said, I did 64 stitches. These are US ones, and typically I do 60 stitches on US ones. She does have a women's small option, which is a 56 stitch sock, and when I increased in the toe to 56 stitches, it just didn't look wide enough, even though I'm sure it would be fine because I'm sock stretch, of course. I know that. I have plenty of socks, but was like, just do 64 stitches. So putting this on, there's positive ease around my foot, but that is solely my bad for making that decision and not sticking with the smaller size or the smaller stitch count. But so far so good. I love it. I will probably have these done lickety split because they're so much fun. It's a 8-row repeat, so it's really, really potato chippy. You just 8 rows. Go. We'll just get to the next repeat. Just get to the next repeat. And I do have to look at the pattern each time I get to a repeat row. It's fairly simple, but each pattern row is slightly different, so I don't want to make the mistake of messing up and then having to take back, because like my other sock, if there's yarn overs in it, I am more apt to tear the entire thing out and start from scratch than to go in and fix it and then not fix it perfectly and then look at it every time I put them on and go, that's where I screwed up. That's exactly where I screwed up. So looking at the pattern. Let's see. I have 2 other projects that I've worked on. I have not worked on my sweater that I am doing in pieces for myself, that I'm making up the pattern as I go. So I'm not going to show that because it did not get a single ounce of love at all. But I did work on my dad's sweater a little bit. So I'll give you guys a show. Let me show you what I've done. So this is the Boatyard Pullover by Hannah Fettig. It's in her texture book. And here he is. As you can tell, I did finish the bottom. Let me turn it around. I did not have much to do on it. I have not done that much on this. And you can't even see there it is. So, finished the ribbing. I actually finished the ribbing about a half, 3/4 of an inch shorter than what it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be 3 inches. This is a good 2.5. So I guess it's about a 1/2 inch short. I did not think that it would look good at 3 inches. This seemed plenty long enough to me. It is about a 1/2 inch shorter than the body should be, but when I block it out for him, I am sure that I can stretch it a 1/2 inch because this is super wash, so it will grow a little bit. Speaking of what it is, this is Cascade Longwood, and it is in color 29. I think it's like charcoal gray or something like that, but it is so soft and so squishy for being super wash. I absolutely love it, and I absolutely hate how splitty the yarn is. Like, I want a sweater and a sweater and a sweater and another sweater out of this for myself, and I will not make it because of the yarn, most likely. There we go. Getting the rays of light. Hopefully you can't see that, but I can see it on the screen, so I'm pretty sure you can see it. Gotcha. So I did start the sleeve as well, and I just have a teeny little sleeve. I've done 2 decreases, and I'm just chugging along. I'll stitch that up. There's a nice little hole right there. Thankfully. Dog hair. Thankfully I can stitch that up. But I'm hoping maybe next week I can have a sleeve done, because I do want to give this to him for Father's Day. Not totally necessary since it is summer now. And I doubt that he'll wear it, but my parents are traveling to Alaska in July, and my mom is bringing her hand knit sweater that I made the very beginning of my podcasting. I think I showed it in the first episode, and then it was done by the second episode. So she's bringing that. I doubt that it's going to be cold enough where they're going. They're just going to the Anchorage area to look for homes. temperature-wise, from what I've seen when we check their highs for the day and our highs for the day, they're 5 to 10 degrees cooler. So I highly doubt that she's actually going to wear the sweater, but she wanted me to surprise him with his sweater so he could take it to Alaska with them. But we'll see. His birthday is also in July, so if I don't get it done by Father's Day, I'll just give it to him before he leaves, and no big deal. And if I don't, then it'll be done by Christmas, for sure. And if it's not, we've got problems. All right, so the next thing that is getting most of my love is, fittingly, I can't grab it, in my procrastinating bag that I got from Joann's. I was so disappointed yesterday. My husband and I went out to dinner and saw a movie, and we were early for the movie, so across the street from the theater is a Walmart and a Joann's and some big box stores. So we went to Walmart, and I went to go and grab fabrics so I could make some more little project bags. And I grabbed all my stuff and I rang the bell. I waited for like 30 minutes. They radioed or intercomed for somebody to come and cut fabric like 4 times. Nobody came and cut fabric. So I left my big pile of fabric on their table and was like, you know what? I'll just leave it. I don't care. So I was all upset. Not like super upset, but I was kind of tweaked about it. And my husband was like, well, I'll stand in line and pay, and you run over to Joann's, because it was literally like next door. I didn't know on Sundays they closed at 6. It was 6:04. I was like, all I want to buy is interfacing and some canvas. Like, please just let me in. And they're just like waving at me on the other side of the sliding glass doors as I almost smacked my face into it, because who knew that they closed at 6 o'clock on Sundays? Maybe it's just because we live in or that area is a small town. I didn't know that. I thought, you know, the Walmart's open 24 hours. Big Lots next door is open until 11. Like, I figured it'd be open past 6 o'clock, but it's not, so I didn't get anything. But I did get this from there quite a while ago, and living inside it is my flea cardigan, which has yarn everywhere. So last time we saw it, I was still working on the color work, which I think I was around this area. So I finished the color work and split for the sleeves. Yay! So that is it here, and I did the calculations. So last time I was saying that my gauge is smaller than what the pattern suggests. The pattern is about 6 stitches the inch. Mine is about 7. So I did the calculations. I counted how many stitches that I have around the body, divided it by 7 stitches per inch. And as of right now, not including the steeked part, it'll be about 33 3/4 inches around. And then there's a button band, which will probably be about another inch. So it should be about a 1/2 inch of negative ease, which is perfect. Perfectly what I wanted. I wanted an inch, about an inch of negative ease when this was done and fully buttoned up, because I either like a lot of negative ease or none in my sweaters. That teeny bit of positive ease, I feel like I look frumpy. Just, my body shape doesn't look good in it, so perfect. I'm so happy. Yay! But yeah, here she is. So the flea cardigan. I don't have the Norwegian name on it, but it is by Anne Mir. And let me show you the front. Let me just hold this in front of my face so you can not see it. This is what the pattern looks like. And I can't see the camera, so I hope it is focusing. But yeah, so now I'm just in miles of stockinette land. I mean, it was miles of stockinette land from the time I started after the ribbing, but miles of stockinette land with a little flea pattern in there, and I love it. I love it so much. It is not something that I typically would knit, so I'm really, really excited. I think the most exciting part of this, uh-oh, my needle stopper fell off. Probably because I'm using large size needle stoppers on a size 2.5 needle, which doesn't work very well. But the most exciting part of this is finishing it, obviously, but I don't have buttons for it. So I can't wait to finish it all the way to have buttons sewn on it, button bands done and everything, or maybe the button side of the button band's done and then buttonhole side needs to be knit still. And I want to take this to my somewhat local yarn shop, or most local yarn shop, and have them help me pick buttons. Because they're always so excited when I go in and say I want yarn for a sweater or whatnot. They're so helpful. And I wish that, well, I wish they were closer because I love them. And they have knit nights twice a week, but I'm not going to drive an hour, 45 minutes to an hour in one direction to go to a knit night to drive back. So I want them to help me pick buttons. And I'm so excited. But so yarn wise, most everything is Quince & Company except for this kind of light beigey white color here. This is Cascade Heritage Silk, and then the rest of the color work, minus the blue, is Quince & Company Finch, which is their fingering weight 100% American wool. And the blue is Quince & Company Churn, which is their wool and silk blend. So I'm so excited. And I knit the ribbing on what the pattern called for, which is US 1.5. The body is done on US 2.5. And because I'm knitting my dad's sweater, I did what I absolutely hate doing with sweaters. I put my sleeves on waste yarn. I despise waste yarn with a passion. Like, it's okay once it's on there, but taking it off, it's not one of my favorite things. It's not one of things that I even like doing. So thankfully I have miles of body to do before I get to taking the waste yarn out, because yuck. So I have one other project which you have not seen yet, and it's not new. Actually, just black coffee. I tell my husband I like my coffee like I like my soul, dark and black, and he laughs. He's like, "You're the sweetest person I've ever met. You don't have a black soul." Like, oh, you have no idea. So what I am going to show you is a crochet blanket. So this is just a super scrappy crochet granny stripe blanket that I have been working on since January-ish, and I just put a couple of rows on it. So I figured I'd share it with you, but mainly what I wanted to share with you were some, well, it's all in a cake. And another cake, because my ball winder ran out of room. But I recently did a swap with Tessa of the Interim Knits podcast, and we traded some minis. So I sent her some, and she sent me like 19 minis. Amazing. And I wish I waited to wind this amazing magic cake of minis before I mentioned it, or until after I mentioned that we did a swap, so I could show you each one individually, but I didn't. I was so excited right when I got them. I pulled out my ball winder and I'm like, mini cake! And I just magic knotted everything together. So as I continue to work on this, which will probably not be too much unless I have some evening time where it's a little bit cooler, then I might do a little work on it, but it's still pretty small, so I can get a few rows in here and there. But yeah, I wound up some of my minis that I had left over from the swap, and all of her amazing minis. There's some of her hand spun in here. Tessa, your hand spun is perfect. Like, I tried spitting on a drop spindle once, and it looked like I'm not even going to tell you what it looked like because luckily I didn't even spin it. It was so bad. And yeah, but it is beautiful and I cannot wait to get to some of these colors. She did give me some heavier weight yarn as well, which is part of the 19 minis for a Cozy Memories blanket that I am knitting. I'm making it out of more DK worsted to Aran weight yarn. And I haven't decided, it's really small. I have like 5 squares on it. I haven't decided if I'm going to make it, I should have grabbed it, but it's not in this room. So about that big or about that wide and then long lengthwise, about twice the width because I have some pillows and like couch pillows that don't have covers on them. I've said so many times, I apologize. I almost did it again. So I have these couch pillows or throw pillows that need to have covers on them, sewn or whatnot. And I thought it would be really, really cool to knit like Cozy Memory style, like a blanket, and then stitch up the sides and stuff the pillow in there. So I think I'm going to do that. I really like that idea. And I will be way happier with the quick project than another blanket that I can do, you know, a row on here and there. So I think I'm going to do that. I haven't fully decided yet, so we'll see. But yeah, so this is my super scrappy crochet blanket. Let me put my cakes down. But thank you so much, Tessa. I absolutely love all of the minis that you sent me. And the candy, how did you know that Jinjins are my favorite? That's really weird. I always have a bag of them with me, and then I got more. But yeah, I love it. Oh, my crochet hook is just a cheap boy crochet hook. I'm using a D-size hook. It's a 3.25 millimeter, and it's making a fabric that I really like. Let me see if I can get it a little bit closer. Not that large of holes in it, which is what I wanted. I don't like, there's a time and a place for every crochet blanket, but I do not like the kind of holier style crochet blanket, especially I made this, it's my full wingspan, which is a little about 5 foot 6 inches, and then a half. So it is very, very wide, and it is, I'm planning on making it long enough so it'll go on our California king size bed. There we go. The light's gone. So I lost my train of thought. Wow, I need more coffee today. My husband woke me up early, so he had to go and do some tree work, and I guess I'm feeling the effects of that. And once one of us gets out of bed, oh, he's not there. Oh, he's there. Okay. It didn't look like it. That's not a couch cushion. That's a dog. Once Rebel knows that I'm awake, he sleeps like right next to me. And once he knows I'm awake, oh my gosh, he was like nudging me with his nose and making all these noises. Mom, let me out so I can go potty. Usually when I say that, they both perk up and they run to the door, so that's good. So they nudged me out of bed, and he's so funny. Total tangent, sorry, but he's so funny. When I get out of bed, he hops down onto the floor, and before my feet hit the ground, he starts nibbling at my toes, and I'm like, dog, if you take one of my toes off, you're not gonna get to go outside. It is the funniest thing every morning. But yeah, I want to show you my bag that this is in, because I absolutely love it. And my mom made it. Look at the fevers. You can see dog hair just flying off of it. I keep this crushed kind of behind that chair. And let's be honest, I don't really clean behind it very often. So, fevers. My mom made this tote bag for me. I bought the fabric. That was before I kind of started venturing into making bags. I've been making my own clothes. I say that like all of my clothes are handmade. I have been dabbling in sewing clothing for a while. In fact, actually, this fabric, but the white flannel version of it has the same beavers, but instead of blue, there's red. I've made my husband, his dad, and his brother all pajama pants for Christmas out of it, which prompted me to buy this fabric and forced my mom to make a bag out of it. There's dog hair everywhere. But I think that's it for, I almost said for sewing. For knitting, did you notice? If you watched me last week, I said I was going to put my thread, my spool thingy behind me, and it fits perfectly. I screwed it to the wall, and I have all but 2 spaces filled up. The one missing right there is on my sewing machine as we speak. So there's 2 spaces up there that need thread, but yay! And I did get the part for my knitting machine. It is very temperamental. I'm sure once I do it more, I will get used to it and it'll be a lot better. But I set it up and I think I can get about that far knitting on it, back and forth, and then I think I just get cocky and start going faster, or I let the yarn tension be off or something, and then it starts kind of hiccuping, and then I'll get a drop stitch, and then I get angry, and I can't fix it perfectly, so then I get more angry, and it's really benefited my sewing, though, because I used to be like that with my sewing. Like, my sewing machine isn't the best. It's a Brother 5000i, I think, and $150 off of Amazon. I bought like 3-4 years ago. And it works great, but you know, every once in a while, if I don't know where the bobbin came from or something, and it doesn't fit in there perfectly, it'll jam up the machine. And I used to get so angry sewing stuff. I would not sew stuff for months because I hate my sewing machine. I hate sewing. I've been sewing like a champ since that knitting machine got fixed, or since I got the part for the knitting machine and I got angry at it. Nothing seems to be pissing me off with my sewing machine, so win-win. Yay! He's sleepy. But yeah, so speaking of sewing, I don't have my projects that I finished with me right now, but I sewed an Agnes top out of this really pretty, I don't even have anything, it's kind of this pink, almost, maybe a hair lighter than that pink. And then I also sewed a boundless knit dress, and the boundless knit dress pattern is a PDF pattern that I bought off of Etsy, and the seller is Patterns for Pirates. I love that dress pattern. If you're looking for a knit dress pattern that you can incorporate pockets into, it is awesome. And it's pretty cheap. I think it was like $6 maybe a little more. I don't know. I bought it a while ago. But there's so many options you can do with it, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I've made 4 or 5 of them now, and it's great. So I had enough fabric to get the Agnes top and the boundless knit dress done. What else did I sew? I sewed the 2 project bags. I also sewed a couple more. I am considering putting them in my shop, my Etsy shop, not these ones because they aren't perfect, and like the chicken bags, I didn't change the thread color out after I made the blue one, so you can see the top stitching, and it's not perfectly straight. But I'm going to practice a few more times. I'm going to tweak the pattern a little bit. I think I'm going to make it a hair bigger. This fits a pair of socks, or the skein yarn and an almost finished sock perfectly. So I don't think I need to make it too much bigger, but I might make this and maybe a bigger size. I don't know. I really like it. I'm really enjoying sewing them, and I really don't need 10,000 project bags. So I might pop a few in there for, you know, a cheapish price, just so I can get rid of, so I can continue sewing them, but not have a giant stockpile of project bags that I'm never going to use, because I'm never going to have, knock on wood, 52 projects or something crazy like that. And but I do have some more sewing plans. Let me show you. I actually have a printout right here, which I'll grab the first couple of pages. This is a paid for pattern. It is a PDF pattern as well. I have some more knit fabric, and I think I'm going to be bad and buy some more after I finish filming this. But I am planning on making the Blackwood cardigan. Hopefully you can see that. It's by Helen's Closet, and I'm so excited. It says it's an advanced beginner pattern, which I should be fine with. I can do intermediate patterns just fine. So even intermediate, advanced, or advanced intermediate, there we go. Patterns just fine. So sorry, my hair keeps popping in my face. I cut my bangs, and I thought it'd be easier. Of course it's not easier. So should be able to do this just fine. I really love this long one with the pockets. Actually, I love both. But so we'll see how many yards of knit fabric that I have and what I can get out of them. But I'm super excited. Yeah, that's the kind of schematic there. There's no sizing or anything on that. But I think it comes in an extra small to an extra large. So that's really awesome. I think it was $14, which is more than I usually like to pay for a pattern. But because it's a PDF, I can save the file to my laptop or put it in my Google Drive. And when they're PDF patterns, I know a lot of people do not cut from their patterns. When it's a PDF pattern, I have no problem cutting the paper for my pattern because it's saved to my laptop or I almost said a yardstick, a USB drive. If I need a bigger or smaller size, well, if I need a bigger size, I can always go back to that PDF, reprint it out, and then cut it again. I don't have enough storage space to keep more than one copy of or the originals and then my like Swedish tracing paper sets for all of the PDFs that I have. I keep most of everything folded up in shoe boxes, and I have a lot of them, so we're just not going to talk about it. It's kind of like my knitting pattern stash, where every time I get a knitting pattern that I like, I have to print it out. I have to print it out, I have to look at it, I have to touch it, and then it goes in a binder. And what do I do when I want to find a new pattern? I go on Ravelry and I find another pattern that I want, and I never look at my printed patterns. I'm such a waste. I feel so bad. But one day, I'm not going to have internet. And I will go through all of my patterns and find them, find the ones that I want, and it'll be awesome. But yeah, so I think that's about it. I don't really have any other projects. I do have another project that I want to sew. I found a, oh geez, I'm going to have to find it for you because I don't know the name. It's a Blackwood cardigan. Look at this. These are the pattern pieces. I have not taped them all together yet, so pattern pieces. There it is. I printed out, it's a free pattern. It is the Lady Shorts undies pattern by Cloth Habit. I also bought the Watson bra and panty PDF, which I'm going to print out eventually one day. I don't have the notions for the bra, so I'm going to wait on that. But the Lady Shorts panties, I might sew up a couple. I have some stretch, this is kind of weird, but I have some stretch lace fabric from the bridesmaids dresses that I made when my husband and I got married. I sewed all of my bridesmaids dresses. They're those, what are they called? I think they're called infinity dresses. So it's the skirt, and then it's got two long straps that are attached to the skirt, and you can wrap it, you can wrap it as a tube dress, you can wrap it as a halter. I might insert a picture of my bridesmaids so you can see them, but I have a ton of lace stretch fabric left over because I did a tube top, and then the skirt in a lining, and then I did a lace overlay on the skirt, and then lace straps, because wedding backless bridesmaids dresses I thought might be a little too sexy. But speaking about the lace fabric, I have a ton of it, and what else am I gonna do with it? It's stretched lace. I'm not gonna make, a lace. I could make a lace overlay on a skirt, but I don't know. But I thought lace panties, I'm not gonna model them for you, but if they look good, I might show them to you if I make them. We'll see. That's a lot of projects that I want to do this week, and I still have to do work and whatnot, so we'll see how much I get to. I've got a stack of stuff, as you saw, the stack of patterns and stuff. I printed all that out this morning. But yeah, I think that's about it. That's all of everything that I want to do. Well, knitting-wise, I want to make some more sweaters, but I'm not even going to talk about those until I'm closer to finishing one of the 3 sweaters that I have on the needles, especially the one that didn't get any love this week. That poor sweater. I feel kind of bad, but once one of those are done, then I'll go to that and start a new one. Yay! But yeah, so I think I'll let you guys go. Thank you again so much for watching. Let me know what you think about putting those bags into my Etsy store. And also, I didn't mention the cowl that I was thinking about starting for the summer and ending in the fall, the sweaters for summer, or summer of sweaters cowl. Please also let me know what you think about that. I might just open a chatter thread in my Ravelry group. And if anybody posts anything in there, then we'll continue to do it. And if no one posts anything about wanting to finish their sweaters all summer so they're ready in the fall, then I will have nothing to worry about. But there will be prizes if you want to enter. If you think it's a good idea, comment below or message me on Ravelry or say something in the Ravelry group and let me know, because I'll be really disappointed if nobody does anything. Just kidding. I'm still going to finish my sweaters, but I would love to do it with some of you. And if you have any sweaters, please, please, please join me. So with that being said, I will now let you go. Thank you again so much for watching, and I look forward to talking to you next time. Thanks again. Bye.